1964. The station was built in 1848 and had 2 through platforms and 2 centre roads. A bay platform on the downside served the line to Market Drayton. Notice the water column bag over the through down road. Our engine takes its fill from a more conventional water crane. We depart south, past Glebe Street signal box and past the locomotive shed built by the LNWR in the 1870s. This supplemented the North Staff's roundhouse to the west of the main line. The main line southeast to Uttoxeter and Derby had a ruling gradient of 1 in 100 for 4 miles to Mere. Stockport Heaton Mersey's 48161 heads south banked by one of Stoke's Ivat Moguls. The station had opened in 1894. It closed in November 1966. Continuing to Uttoxeter, we leave the Derby line and curve north towards the Churnet Valley line. First station was Roster, where the North Staff's line to Ashbourne diverged northeast, on through Alton Towers, serving the adjacent Gothic mansion, seat of the Earls of Shrewsbury. A local service between Uttoxeter and Leek of 2 trains daily survived, this the 11:25 from Leek, before Oakermore and its 550-yard tunnel, then Cheddleton Tunnel, and we diverge at Leekbrook Junction onto the Waterhouses branch. This climbs steeply at up to 1 in 45 to beyond Ipstones. Opened as the Leek, Culdon Low and Hartington Light Railway in 1905, it lost its passenger services back in 1935. At Ipstones there is a tablet exchange from Leekbrook Junction. We are on an RCTS train to Culdon Low, a link to a stone quarry. The locomotive used for this tour was Black 5 45020. The first Black 5 in service for the LMS, built in August 1934 by the Vulcan Foundry, a full 6 months before the first one emerged from Crewe Works. She was a Stoke engine at this time and stayed there until withdrawal in December 1965. The quarry produced stone ballast for railway purposes. The contractor supplied to the railway ceased in 1989. After running round its train, the track to Leekbrook is retraced. On approaching Leekbrook Junction, the Churnet Valley line is straight on to Cheddleton Tunnel. Our tour diverges towards Milton Junction. Leekbrook Halt was opened in 1904 and served the nearby North Staffordshire County Mental Asylum at Cheddleton. Sidings served for remarshalling of stone traffic. The rural landscape gives way to an industrial one, passing Milton Junction, and then Stoke Shed again as we arrive from the south. Stoke Shed had an allocation of about 10 264 tanks of Fowler, Stanier and Fairbairn designs at this time. As would be expected, there was also a lot of Black 5s. these standing around the 150-ton capacity mechanical coaling plant and ash disposal area. The shed closed in August 1967. Passing through Stoke Station, a DMU is in the down bay for Market Drayton, and a Black 5 is waiting on the down through road. A 4F waits for a path through Stoke near Etruria Junction, where this train took the loop line through Burslem to Kidsgrove, affording views of kilns for Stoke's China industry. At Kidsgrove, 45020 ran round its train. Special provision was made in the sectional appendix for the propelling of passenger trains between the loop line and the main line at Loop Line Junction. The engine, now chimney first, is able to haul the train back through Stoke and Milton Junction. Now the tour visited the Biddulph Valley line to Congleton Lower. The line once served several colliery and ironstone branches. Regular passenger services ceased around 1927, although some excursion traffic continued into the 1960s. The bridge carries the North Staff's Macclesfield to Stoke Main line. Straight ahead, the line continued for another mile to Brunswick Wharf Goods Depot, which closed in 1969. Care was used for 45020 to negotiate the treble slip points, and the use of point clips was obligatory. The driver cautiously watches his progress while the fireman busies himself preparing his fire. The tour participants line the old track bed on the connecting spur to the upper junction, which was taken out of use on the 1st of December 1963. All traffic then went out via Stoke, a long way round if it was destined for the Manchester area. An inspector clips the points. Some time was lost here, and the train departs for Stoke again, where, for the record, it arrived 55 minutes late. While 45020 comes off the train to turn and head the tour south, one of Stoke's 264 tanks is seen shunting. With some final waving by a tour participant, the train heads south out of Stoke, passing the back streets and kilns of the city before the shed is reached. The shed was closed in August 1967. Just before closure, the allocation was 35 engines of Stanier Black 5s, 280s and standard Class 4s with a couple of Ibert Moguls thrown in. 48768 had been at Stoke since June 1964. .48364 had one more month of work at Crewe South, but 45308 was withdrawn on closure of the depot. 45241 also found itself unwanted at the end, even though it was transferred to Crewe, but 75029, rushing past the unused North Staff's roundhouse, would live on in preservation. .45241 appears to be getting a load of slack from the mechanical coaling plant before moving off to the 1936-built overhead traversing ash handling plant, which could serve 3 roads. Next to use the coaler is 75029. Now the smoke box has to be emptied of char. .75029, although dirty, still sports its Brunswick green livery from the days it worked on the Western region. After all, it was built at Swindon. It had been at Oxford, Swindon, Tyseley and Wrexham. With 20 others in the class, she had been fitted with a double chimney and blast pipe, in fact 3 over the years of different designs. In preservation, it was named the Green Knight. By January 1967, the electric overhead at Stoke was energised. Diesel traction was replacing steam also. 2 Bear Peacock-built Class 2s head a stone train north. And very appropriate for Stoke-on-Trent, 86236 stops on a train to Manchester. She was named Josiah Wedgwood in November 1980 after the 18th century craftsman, founder of English pottery. Her pre-tops number was E3133. We now